Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to a new episode of Stocks for Breakfast. Today we're going to talk about a trading plan. Today we're going to talk about end of year, setting up the next year, having the action plan for knowing exactly what you're going to do. And I want you to write this down. This is really important. And we actually have a whole step-by-step template for you today. You can actually click down below the video and grab it. There's also 3 videos on the page where you can get the template. And it's kind of interesting. It's two of them were actually a little bit older video that I did back in 2012 when I had my firm. We actually were walking new traders through the different milestones that you needed to accomplish before you started to trade size, before you started to trade multiple strategies. Probably the biggest thing that I want to get across to you in this video today, and this is based on a lot of experience and mostly my experience about what works and what doesn't work. If you've read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, you know that one of the most popular quotes in there is to make a big list of what doesn't work, and what's left over is your trading plan. I think he said what's left over is what actually does work, which is that's where you end up making money, assuming you follow it. So what we're going to walk through here is we're going to go step by step by step of exactly what you need to outline. And again, I can't stress this enough. It's more important to know what you're going to do next than it is to know what's going to happen next. I just can't express that strongly enough. Assuming you have an edge and assuming your trading plan outlines your edge, there's still a whole bunch of other stuff in there that needs to go in there, such as share size, types of stocks you trade, what kind of trader you're going to be. Just for example, are you a day trader, a swing trader, position trader, an investor, a scalper? All of those things go into the equation. Why? Because that's going to ultimately determine how you plan to manage the trade. See, that's also one of the biggest problems too, is if you don't go into the trade knowing exactly what you're looking for. In other words, what is the expected profit target? How long do I plan on holding this? How much screen time do I need to sit in front of a monitor to accomplish what I want to accomplish? You're going to constantly be going back and forth, and it's going to be hard to make a definitive decision. And that's what you want. You want to say, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what I'm doing. Once you know that, then it's a lot easier to execute it. And here's the problem, and this is a problem that I had early in my career, is that I would go back and forth. The first month I traded, I try a strategy, then I try another strategy, then I try. Instead of actually learning something that worked, like you're doing now, right? And digging deep into that. You want to go a mile deep, not a mile wide. When you start to trade stocks, options, futures, Forex, crypto, day trade, swing trade, position trade, investment trade, it's very, very hard to master something. So what I would encourage you to do right out of the gate, especially if you've tried and you're struggling, I'm willing to bet that you're trying to do too much right out of the gate. Really, really become good at something. And only then after you've reached that milestone, only then should you go to the next one, which is probably a second strategy or maybe even a second security. And I outline that really detailed. Actually, I have a little whiteboard presentation. So if you click down, you'll get the other links on the trading plan outline page. So we'll actually walk through right now. It's probably actually a little bit easier, right? So obviously, we're going to talk about a template. And a template simply means that I'm giving you the foundational pieces of what you need to create your action plan for every single day. So don't forget, your trading plan is your edge and how you plan to manage the edge. So there's 2 separate parts of it. And again, which stocks meet your criteria. So for example, my minimum criteria is an average of 2 million shares per day and an average true range of $1.50 per day. That's not a secret. I talk about that all the time. But then you need to find the stocks that match your edge, that match that minimum criteria. So for example, we get a lot of people both on social media and in the boot camp who call out stocks that are penny stocks or stocks that don't have that much liquidity. So we don't even talk about them, or I don't even talk about them. I don't comment on them because I don't trade them. So I don't call out ideas in them. I don't say whether or not I believe they're good ideas because they don't meet my strategy. So starting out with this, probably, again, as I said, one of the biggest mistakes that traders make, which I made early in my career too, is not getting feedback and ruthlessly assessing whether or not what I'm doing is getting the results that I want. That's probably something that all of us can really take action on right away. And again, don't do it trade by trade because that's too short of a period of time. Do it week by week, month by month, and say, am I getting the results based on what I'm doing every day? And I'll be honest with you, a lot of traders are continually banging their head against the proverbial wall, trying to do the same thing and hoping for different results. It's imperative that you use your immediate feedback of what you did over the week, what you did over the month. Over the month is probably a better sample size. And again, it all depends on how many trades you make, because you can't really judge the success of a strategy based on one trade, which ironically, sometimes I get people on social media or somebody who just came into the boot camp for the first day and they're like, oh, I took that trade that lost money. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's one of the next 50 we're probably going to make this month. So it needs a sample size. So I'm just going to walk you through this page a little bit. You can see that there's actually a lot here. The first video here, the first 9-minute video is actually me on the whiteboard walking about developing a strategy and then learning how, and more importantly, when to scale a strategy. This is a whiteboard presentation that I walk you through. Once you watch that video, then you go down and you scroll into all of the different minimum requirements that need to go into your trading plan. And again, objectives are a big part of that, because once you define your edge, how you determine whether or not you want to be in the market or not, what defines a high probability move in one direction or not, you still need to determine, again, am I a day trader? Am I a swing trader? Am I a position trader? Am I an investor? Am I a scalper? Am I using fundamentals? Am I using technical analysis? Do I want to learn how to be a tape reader? There's so many different things that you need to be definitive about. Again, could you imagine running any other business where you're trying something and the next day you try something else, next day you try something else, next day you try something else? You'd never stay in business. That's what trading is. Now, I always think you should improve, but you need to first find something that works and then become good at it before you start to expand. And again, I talk about that in a lot of detail in this video. I get way deep, and it's only 9.5 minutes, almost 10 minutes, but I get really deep into do not increase your share size. Do not start trading multiple strategies until something very specific happens. And that's a pretty good video there. So then we keep breaking it down. We talk about potential trading concepts, give you some ideas about potential trading concepts. But again, keep getting back to the same key strategy here, which is if you don't commit to what you believe your edge is, you're going to get inconsistent results. So if you're watching this right now and you're making money, losing money, making money, losing money, there's only one of two things. You don't have an edge that works over time, or you're not following it, one or the other. So we talk about all the time when people come into the boot camp is that there is having the edge and then there's following the edge. It's not the same thing. It's absolutely not the same thing. And I can tell immediately who's following the edge, because somebody will pop in on Monday and then pop in on Thursday, and they'll not be contributing at all where I can help them. If I have no idea what trades you're taking, it's very challenging for me to help you. But if you're in there and actually calling out trades, asking questions, that's where the actual acceleration of your learning comes, because now we have a back and forth dialogue. And that's really, in my opinion, that's one of the biggest benefits of being in the boot camp, is that we can speak one-on-one throughout the day. We can speak one-on-one in our coaching calls. So you just asked a question, I go back. You asked a question, go back. You talk about the trade, we go back. And this is all learning how to work the trading plan together. So again, the next video is how to define and simplify your edge. Now, this is a really important one, because you really need to know every day, this is exactly what I'm looking at. And I talk about it quite a bit, where I actually have, I get excited when new members tell me I don't see anything. And that's really exciting, because they know exactly what they're looking for. And I really believe that one of the most complicated parts of trading needs to be the simplest part, which is how you're defining an edge. So in this 4-minute video, we walk through really strict criteria on how to come up with your own edge. And we give you some samples. Again, this is a step-by-step template, right? We also talk about learning about yourself. Something that is not talked about enough, and I just talked before about scalper versus day trader versus position trader. Everybody has different goals, strategies, resources, all of that stuff that we bring to the market with. I'll give you an example. Like, somebody will always ask me, why would somebody want to be a scalper versus why wouldn't they want to hold overnight positions and swing trade and aim for those bigger profits? This is a question you need to answer before you start trading. And the answer is simple. Somebody who's scalping doesn't like to have losses. They don't like to be exposed to the market for long periods of time, and they're going back and forth in the market, booking a profit, in the market, small loss, book a profit, small loss. They don't want to be exposed to larger moves. Somebody who's swing trading is fine with that in exchange for the bigger moves. So it's very important that you analyze, like, which of those makes you feel comfortable so that you execute your plan flawlessly. And then we scroll all the way down. Again, this is a complete outline. You can just go through this piece by piece. You can see that it's pretty detailed, right? just to answer one question, go to the next question, go to the next question, right? But here's I think one of the interesting things is we actually included here a private coaching call that I had with one of the members of my program. I don't do one-on-one coaching anymore, but this is a really good behind the scenes, raw meeting that I have where we get honest about what's succeeding, what they're doing right, and what they need to work on. And that's really where improvement comes from. So there's a lot to go over in here, but look, I mean, I'll be honest with you, if you spend 20, 30 minutes a day for the next week, which will take you not even into 7 days, you'll be amazed that once you answer the questions, it goes step by step by step. That trading plan will start to form before your eyes. And what's kind of cool is the ultimate goal that you want to get to is knowing exactly what you're looking for and knowing exactly what you want to do. And I exaggerate this a little bit, just a little bit when new people come into the coaching calls, especially. Every Monday night we have our weekly coaching calls, so we set the tone for the week. In addition to our daily game plan meetings that happen every day, is that once you do the hard work, which is first this, which is going through this outline and setting up exactly what kind of trader you want to be, what kind of profits you're going after, what kind of losses are acceptable to you, what kind of edge you have, that kind of thing. Then it's just a matter of going to find stocks that meet your trading plan and meet your edge, right? Then after the market opens, whether it's a day trade or swing trade or a little bit longer term position trade, that's the easy part. What happens between entry and exit is the easy part because you already mapped that out. You know exactly what you're going to do. The challenging part is following it. And that's really where the coaching calls and the day-to-day interaction come in, because I could walk you through, yeah, you might have lost money on that trade, but it was the right trade. It was a good trade. Or yeah, it was a good idea, but the profit potential wasn't strong enough to warrant taking the risk. Like those are the deeper things that we get into when we work together. And there's some of the stuff that you really need to think through when you're actually trading, because you could put on a great trade and not make money. And that's still a good trade if you followed your plan and the profit potential was there. There's other situations. We had actually a couple of these last week, which was exciting to talk through, where the stocks set up perfectly how we identify order flow. But after we did some tape reading on the stock, the profit potential didn't justify putting the trade on. And those are the little things that you start to add to your trading strategy and start to add to your basket of experience, where a tape reading is not necessarily quantified or back tested because it's experience. You can back test what you're looking at, but it's very difficult to back test experience and whether or not you're learning and actually following the plan. So there's a lot to unpack here. And hopefully now that we're heading into a short week, I'm filming this at the end of 2020, going over your trading plan, refining your trading plan, creating a first one from scratch is always exciting because it really gets you pumped up for the next 12 months. It's something you should be doing every month to pay attention to whether or not what you're doing is working or not. But once it starts to work and you see an edge, start to go deeper into refining how that one strategy works. Don't jump from strategy to strategy to strategy, because it'll be very hard for you to have conviction. And that's really the biggest thing you want, right? You want control over the process. You want control over whether or not you make money. And that's the exciting part of going through this. So dig in. If you have any questions about this trading plan process, definitely leave me a comment below the video and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day, everyone.